My camera is sideways because it's charging.
Oh, that's
So it's
okay.
like,
That's totally fine. All right, girlie, let's go ahead and get up. All right. We're gonna go ahead and get started with our angel wings. Let's go ahead and lift those shoulders up. Let's get those elbows out. Lift those wrists all the way up and drop that down. Deep breath in. Nice shoulder lift. Elbows, wrists, drop that down. Let's keep this motion going. Deep breath in. Lift up deep out of that rib cage and drop those arms down. Here we go. Let's do 2 more of these beautiful movements, really lifting up out of the shoulders, out of the elbows, up out of those wrists, and drop it down. Nice deep breath in. Job. Now from here, let's go ahead and reach the arms up into the key of the universe position. And we're gonna drop the head and lower that neck, stretching down to the ground. And then leaning back, lifting up, looking up to the sky, dropping into the back of that neck. And come forward. And deep breath in through the nose, coming back. And let's just work on that motion. Good job. Let's do this a few more times, lifting that head all the way back up. And breathing out as we come down. Good. Now from here, let's go ahead and let's shift the ear now, pushing the ear to one side and to the other. Just pushing that ear, moving that neck on a different axis. And breathe in through the nose. Deep, deep oxygen. Now let's double time this, back and forth. Job. Now from here, let's go ahead and move the head forward and back. Forward and back. Keeping the arms straight, just pushing that neck and head forward and back. Keep that nice breath going. Good job. Now from here, let's put this motion together. We're gonna go forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, back, side. Forward, side, back, side. Now when we have this motion down, let's go ahead and make it a little bit more fluid and let's move it now into a circle. Just pushing that neck around now into a nice circle. Getting a nice deep breaths in through there. Releasing any tension that we have up in that neck. Connecting with our oxygen. Couple more rolls on this side. And now let's move it to the opposite side, just rolling that neck into a circle. If we get a little stuck, just remember the rotation goes forward, side, back, side, Forward, side, back, side. Good. And when we have that motion down, just roll that neck then into a circle. And nice deep breaths. Lovely. Feel that neck break up, all that gunk out. Good job. Now from here, we're going to take the wrist and we're going to softly roll the wrist gently down, dropping all the way below the root chakra as we roll all the way down. And bring the arms all the way back up and just roll at the wrist. All the way back up, taking a nice deep breath. And roll. Keep this motion going. Releasing all that oxygen coming down. Breathing good oxygen up, coming in. And unwind. Let's do 2 more of these motions. Deep breath in. Good job. Now from here, let's place the hands on the hips and let's just pull the shoulders back as far as you can. If you're trying to tuck those shoulder blades together, we squeeze. Deep breath, hold that in. And then we release by bringing the elbows forward, pushing up through the scapula and breathing out through the mouth. Deep breath in as we come up. And deep breath out. Really pushing up out of those shoulder blades. And deep breath in, pulling those shoulder blades together. And deep breath out as we release all this oxygen. Let's do 2 more of these. And out. And deep breath in. And out. Now from here, we're going to elevate the scapula by lifting one shoulder blade up and one shoulder blade down. So just dropping back and forth, back and forth. Deep breath through this, pulling that scapula and shoulder up off the clavicle bone, that bone that sits around the throat. Little bit faster with this motion, back and forth. Good job. All right, from here we're going to put this motion together. So we're going to lift up the chest, lift up the shoulder, drop the chest, lift the shoulder, lift the chest, lift the shoulder, drop the chest, lift the shoulder. So lift the chest, lift the shoulder, drop the chest, lift the shoulder. Chest, side, drop, side. Chest, side, drop, side. Chest, side, drop, side. Let's just work on this motion for a few. That way we feel comfortable with how we're breaking this motion up. And once that feels comfortable, I want you to loosen this up now and start to roll this now into a circle. Just the chest. Just pushing around those shoulders, pushing that chest up and out, and getting nice deep breaths while we unwind this chest. This is a wonderful exercise if we're singers. We open up the diaphragm this way and unravel anything that's built up on the lungs by doing this. So just unwind softly and breathe. Good job. A few more winds this way. And now we're going to reverse it to the opposite side now. So let's just rotate the shoulders inward. If we get stuck, just remember we're lifting the chest, lifting the shoulder, dropping the chest, lifting the shoulder. Lift the chest, lift the shoulder, drop the chest, lift the shoulder. Just work on that motion until you feel comfortable. Because until we have this down, the body doesn't allow itself to roll if we don't have space in there. So we just work on this and breathe. And then when we feel comfortable, we're going to make it nice and soft. And we just roll into it now and breathe. Good job, just staying with the motion. Should really feel this stuff breaking up. We're getting good oxygen in there so we can break up that stuff a lot easier. Our oxygen actually pops all those little acid bubbles that build up around the muscles that make it sore and all that stuff. So breathing deep is so important. All right, a few more rolls here. And now we're gonna work on our snake arms. So we're gonna take one shoulder, bring it up, one elbow, one wrist, flick it up and drop that down. Other arm goes shoulder up, elbow up, wrist goes up and flick it up. Shoulder, elbow, wrist, flick and release. And shoulder, elbow, wrist, flick and release. Now as one shoulder, elbow, wrist comes up, the other shoulder, elbow, wrist comes down. So this is going to turn into a balancing exercise when we make nice big snake arms. So this is going to help shift the liquids in our equilibrium. And this is how we get beautiful balance by doing this. So just remember, shoulder, elbow, wrist, all the way up. Then shoulder, elbow, wrist, all the way up. And this is how we work the snake arms. Getting nice deep breaths, still reaching up out of the rib cage. This is also going to cut your biceps and triceps and leave beautiful muscles in the arms. Now, if we feel comfortable with this, we're going to go ahead and start moving forward with it. So just take a nice little step forward, and then we'll start making our way forward. Big snake arms. And when you can't go forward anymore, you're gonna go backwards, short and fast. The arms are now short and fast, short and fast. Still going shoulder, elbow, wrist. Just now going a little bit shorter and a little faster. Now I know this can be a little rough at first, so when you feel the hurt, you want to get out of the hurt and into the breath. So you could breathe deeper by going. This exercise is done for 3 minutes a day, so go ahead and slow that down, and we'll go back to big snake arms. We're about a minute in, so just really focus on stretching up out of the rib cage and that shoulder, elbow, wrist. Good. Now, once again, when we're ready for this, let's go ahead and walk this forward by taking a nice step forward. Arms going back and forth now. Nice deep breath. And when we can't go any more forward, let's go ahead and go back, short and fast, short and fast, short and fast. Now get out of the hurt and into the breath while we're standing here. Good job. Last time now, let's slow this down. Big snake arms. Almost there. We still have about a minute left. Just push through this. Really feel that weight release by getting out of the hurt and into the breath. Now last time, let's walk forward with this. Just nice big snake arms. Get that breath going. And last time, short and fast, short and fast, short and fast. Good, we got about 10 seconds left. Let's feel this, really push this out. Keep those arms up, keep them flowing, and breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! I'm sure you can feel how that is gonna be a major arm workout. So let's let those arms go completely limp now, and we're gonna let them go back and forth by just tapping the belly. Letting that stretch come out, getting good breath still. Good job. All right, from here we're gonna do one more balancing exercise. So we're gonna bring both of the arms up just like this, and we're gonna take them down into a circle on opposite sides. So it goes all the way down, and then we come all the way back around and come back up to the top. So from the side view, it comes all the way down, we circle all the way back around and to the top. Okay, so let's just work on this motion for a little bit. Taking nice deep breaths while we do this. Two more of these on this side. And now let's move to the opposite side. So then the arms go down, come up and around. And down and come up and around. Like I said, this is a balancing exercise. So when you do this, this will show you where you need work in the body. If one side is off, this won't move, it's fluid. So we just do this exercise to actually get the balance. This will help shift everything. More times on this side. Good job. Okay, now from here, we're gonna go ahead and move a little bit into the hips. So what we're gonna do is a figure 8, and we're gonna take the right hip and we're gonna shift it forward. Then diagonally pull that hip back. Then the left hip goes forward, and then we diagonally pull it back. So right hip forward, then shift that back. Left hip forward, shift that back. Right hip forward, diagonally shift. Left hip forward, diagonally shift. So right forward and slide. Left forward and slide. Forward and slide. Left forward and slide. Good. Just work on this motion for a second till we have that down. Just hip goes forward and slide. Forward and slide. Good job. Now when we have this motion down, we're just going to soften it and we're going to bring it inwards, just circling it now. So what we're actually looking at is a figure 8. So you see the 8 coming inwards and dipping outwards. So it comes in and dips out. When you're ready, let's pull that energy, pull it in and tuck, in and tuck, in and tuck. Just breathe in that good energy. Feel that hip opening up, pulling that hip around, and shifting it in. Still getting that nice deep breath. All right, let's go ahead and let's move this now to the opposite way. So the left hip now is going to shift backwards. Then right hip diagonally goes forward, right hip goes back, left hip forward, left hip back, right hip forward, right hip back, left hip forward. So we're basically just doing the same thing, but what we did on the opposite way now. So slide, shift back, slide, shift back, slide, shift back, slide, shift back. Good. Now when you feel comfortable, let's soften the hips now, and we're just going outward with the hips, pulling them all the way out. Bringing those hips out now, all the way around. So this is now the outward figure 8. You can see the body move into that perfect 8. As we spiral out, suck it forward and around. And don't forget those beautiful breaths. Follow those hips all the way out and around. See them really curve out and around. All right, let's go ahead and work on our shibby now. So all we're doing is taking the hips now, and we're taking one hip, pulling it forward, and then taking the hip and pushing it back. So hips now are going forward and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. Just in those hips. Good. Just shifting those. Back and forward. Lovely. Now let's go ahead and soften this motion by just shifting the hips back and forth. So this is the motion that we're going to stay in. Now to keep the chest still, you can put the hands either right here, you can put the hands right here, you can put them out here. However you would like, just to keep this motion still. You can even keep them just right here. So we're going to do this for 3 minutes now. So let's just get in a nice comfortable position, staying fluid back and forth. And let's shibby now. Shake those hips back and forth. Shibby, shibby, shibby. Keeping that breath fluid. This is the best cardiovascular workout that you're going to get. So learn that shibby and learn it well. Your abs are going to get so tight doing this, and you're going to get such a beautiful heart workout. Just keeping those hips moving back and forth, nice and fluid. Now when we're ready for this, if we have our fluid down, we're just going to take nice soft steps moving forward. Keep that shibby flowing. And shibby that all the way back, taking nice steps back. Good job, and keep this motion by moving forward. We're about 1.5 minutes in right now, so just keep pushing. And now when we come forward with this, let's get into the center, and now let's move this into a circle. Beautiful, keep that circle going. And when we come back to center, let's change that circle to the opposite direction, keeping that shibby going. Got about 1 minute left. Let's keep this pushing. Push it out. Keep that circle going. And for our last half a minute, let's just shibby in place. Really shake that hard once we get back to center. And shibby, like we're running in place as hard as we can. Really get that motion flowing. Nice deep breath. $15 more seconds, keep pushing this. Woo! 10 more seconds. Keep it flowing, girl. Woo! Get that breath in. Good job for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Good job, girlie. All right, let's grab some water after that one.
any. Oh, I do have some. Okay.
Oh, yeah. All right, we're gonna do a nice stretch after that. So let's lift the arms up, open that rib cage, lean back into it. And release that, coming all the way forward. Dropping all that energy out of the ground. And deep breath coming up. Lean back. And bring that all the way forward, releasing all that energy down. And deep breath coming up. And release that all the way down. Let's do a few more of these. Deep breath in. And all the way out. And last time, deep breath in. And deep breath all the way out. Good, now let's roll up softly. And we're gonna stay with the hips. So let's go ahead and we're just gonna do nice little hip rolls. Just tiny little ones in the hips now. Just moving those hips around. Now we're gonna get into center circles. So we take the hip out, push the butt out, hip out, pelvic forward. Hip out, butt out, hip out, pelvic forward. So we try now to shift this now into more of the bones in the lower back and the hips on the side. Now we're gonna take these into big hip circles. So push the hip out, push that butt out, push the hip out, push the pelvic forward. So these are all the way down and around, back movements. This is gonna get into the lower back, all the way down into the knees. Push that around. And breathe. Good job. Now let's go ahead and go back to center hip circles now. And just nice big circles in the center. We want to break down 3 different sections of these circles because we move the hips so many different ways. Want to give as much space as possible to them. And now back to little hip circles. And now when you're ready, let's go ahead and rotate this to the opposite side now. So stay with those little hips, just the opposite way. All right, now let's move it into center hip circles. So just pushing that butt out a little bit more, pushing those hips out, that pelvic out. Beautiful. Now let's go ahead and get into big hip circles. So push that butt down and around. Pelvic forward. Feel that back. Push it forward. Getting nice deep breaths in. Should be feeling really good now in the lower back. All right, now let's move this back into the center hip circles. So just back in that center. And now back into little hip circles. Just rolling in those hips now. All right, now from here, we're gonna work a little bit of our shibby in the shoulder blades. So all we're doing is lifting the arms up and out. And one shoulder is going to go forward and one shoulder is going to go back. So we're just pushing shoulder forward, shoulder back. So the emphasis on the arms, don't do so much of the arms, but more on the shoulder. So if you need to put your hands on your hips and then just go shoulder, 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 shoulder. Yeah, there you go, beautiful. Because this motion, you really want to try and break up all this stuff in the clavicle. So this bone right here, it's like we're shifting this stuff like on and off of it. Yes. There you go. America, I am so proud of you. You literally like have the same body as me now.
Yeah.
You do. We're even like dressed the same tonight, I swear. Like it's so insane. You've been working so hard at this. I'm so grateful that you've gotten to this space. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so a little bit faster, back and forth, shoulders. And now for this motion, we're gonna need to bring the arms up, okay? So we're just doing the shoulders back and forth. Little bit faster. And now when you're ready for this, we're going to shibby the shoulders. So back and forth. Good, now with the shibby, we can move forward with this and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. Good, just with those beautiful shoulder movements. Now let's go to the side with this. And center. And now to the other side. And center. And just work on going back and forth, shifting to the left, then back to center. And then to the right, and back to center. And if not, let's just stay in position, going back and forth, shivvying those shoulders. Remember too, belly dance is one of the hardest dances on the planet. So it takes time to get these motions down. So just what you're doing right now is beautiful. Getting the motion down. Good. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna move back into the hips. Let's get some water though. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit more of the hips. We're gonna undulate now these hips. So how we do that is we take the hip, we pull the hip up, we take a step out, we drop the hip down and pull that hip in. So hip goes up, take a step out, drop the hip, slide it in. Hip up, out, drop, slide. Up, out, drop, slide. Up, out, drop, slide. Up, out, drop, slide. Good job. Now, as we get this motion together, we're going to soften it by doing half crescent moons. So when this comes back in this time, let's just soften it, and now step out and slide. So hips up, out, push, down, and slide. Hip up, out, down, and slide. Getting nice deep breaths in this new area that we're stretching out in the hip. Hip up, out, down, and slide. Up, out, down, and slide. So remember, the hip goes up, step out, drop down, slide it in. Hip up, step out, step down, slide it in. Hip up, step out, drop down, slide it in. Let's just work on this motion. That way you get the motion down. And when you actually have that down, that's when you can soften it. And then you just move them through the motion as it pushes together. Good, let's do 2 more of these on this side, just lifting up, out, dropping, and sliding. And now let's move to the opposite side. So we go hip up, take a step, hip down, slide it in. Hip up, step out, drop down, slide it in. Hip up, out, down, slide. Up, out, drop, slide. Up, out, drop, slide. Good job. Let's just keep working on this motion. Just lifting that hip up, stepping out, dropping down, sliding in. Now when we have this motion down, we're going to make those soft moves. So we take it up, down, and slide. Hip up, out, drop it in, and slide. Just making it a little bit softer. Still getting beautiful breaths in. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's do a few more of these. All right, now we're going to move it to the other side and we're going to go inward now. So we're going to take a step out. Now hip goes up. Pull that hip in, drop the hip down. So step out, hip up, pull it in, drop down. Step out, hip up, pull it in, drop it down. Out, hip up, pull in, drop down. Out, hip up, pull in, drop down. Good, let's just work on this motion for a little bit. Now when we have this motion down, we're going to soften it by doing those half moon coming up and dropping. So circle the hip up and drop. Circle the hip up and drop. Circle and drop. Circle hip and drop. So getting those nice breaths in. This is an elevation practice with the hips. So just moving up and down with them. And a couple more rolls going up and in, dropping, up and in, and drop. Now let's move to the opposite side, taking a step out, lifting that hip up, pulling the hip in, dropping the hip down. Take a step out, lift that hip, pull that hip in, drop that hip down. So step out, up, pull it in, drop it down. Out, up, in, and drop. Out, up, in, and drop. Now when we start getting this motion down and we feel comfortable with it, we can move this into those soft moons, those half moons, pressing up and dropping. Yes, beautiful. And let's just work on that motion, pulling those hips down, up and around, and dropping. Down and drop. Beautiful. Continue that, just getting nice deep breaths in. All right. Now after a few more rolls on this side, we're going to work on going back and forth. So let's just stay in place now, and we're going to bring those hips up, in, and drop. Up, in, and drop. So we're just standing in place now, bringing the hips up and in. Up and in. So it's the same thing we were doing, just bringing both of the hips now in together. Yes. Now we're going to exvert this. So bring the hips up and out now. Up and over and out. Up and over and out. Up and over and out. So lifting them up and down. Remember those hips going up, out, down, and slide? We're just standing in place now doing this with the hips out. Pushing them out. Beautiful. All right. Now, we're going to move a little bit into the leg motion. So let's go ahead and we're going to take the right leg and bring it forward. The toe is going to point out, and all we're doing is bringing the foot in, twisting, and dropping. So twist and drop. Twist and drop. Twist and drop. Good. Twist and drop. Now the arms for this, we bring the right arm out, left hand up. So we're just twisting and dropping. Twist and drop. Twist, drop. Twist, drop. Good. Now note the other leg is going up and down, so we're doing nice soft little pumps back here. So we should be doing tad little squats in the butt on the left leg while we're just twisting the foot back and forth. Now let's change to the other side, left foot forward, left arm forward, right arm up. We're just twisting the foot in, dropping it down. Twisting and dropping. Twist and drop. Good job. A few more of these on this side. Now let's shift back to the other side. And what we're gonna do is right foot, we're gonna act like we're taking a seat. And what we're gonna do is take the hip now, lift the hip up, pulling the hip up, opening the legs, and then closing. So hip goes up, open, and close. Hip up, open, and close. Hip up, open, and close. Up, open, and close. So this movement right here is going to give us beautiful bums. This is a squatting exercise that's going to open up the hips and also leave the buns really nice and tight by just lifting up, opening, squatting, and then closing. Lift up, open the legs, squat, and close. Up, open, squat, close. Good. Now from here, we're going to do an out. We're going to bring the hip back in now. So the hip comes up, we drop the hip down, and now open the leg up. So hip comes up, drop it down, open it up. Hip comes up, drop it down, open it up. Hip up, drop down, open. Hip up, down, open. Up, drop, down. Good. Now let's move this to the opposite side. So like we are taking a seat with the left, we're taking the hip now and lifting it up, open the leg, squatting it and bringing it down. So hip up, drop down, and close. Hip up, open, and close. Up, drop down, and close. Up, down, and close. Take the hip up, drop it down, and close it. Hip up, yeah, open that up. Couple more of these, and then we're gonna start going the opposite way. So now the hip is going up, but now we take the hip, bring the hip up, drop it down, open the leg up. So hip up, drop it down, open the leg up. Hip up, drop it down, open the leg. Twirl that hip around, drop it, open up. Hip up, drop, open. Keep that motion going. Beautiful. Keep that going. Okay. Now from here, we're gonna go back into the motion where we had our arms forward and we were doing this side turn. So from here, we're gonna do our twist, 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 twist. But we're gonna take this now around the room with it, okay? So just doing the motion of twisting. And when you're ready, start taking steps and turning yourself around the room. So step, twist, twist, twist. Double time. Good job. Now let's go to the opposite way. Stepping and twisting. We're just stepping, twist. Step and twist. Step and twist. Step and twist. And when you want to go up to pace, now just stand in place. Back and forth, going forward and back. Forward and back. And forward with those hips. And back. Forward. And back. Now let's shimmy. Shimmy with the shoulders. Now snake arms. Move forward with that snake arm. And back. Now motion those hips. And invert it. Now let's figure eight those hips. Now invert that figure eight. Good job. Now from here, let's move down into the knees, and we're just gonna rotate those knees around into a circle. Still getting nice, beautiful breaths in the nose. And now let's roll those knees the opposite way. Good job. Now from here, let's just take a nice big step out, separate those legs, and we're just gonna roll one of those knees around now. Now roll that knee inward. If it was going out, roll it in. If it was in, go out. Good job. Now opposite knee, we're gonna roll that knee outward. So just get those rolls on. Beautiful. Now take that knee and roll the knee inward now. Now let's walk those legs in together, and one more time, just roll those knees together to one side. And now opposite side, last time. And let's roll up from here. Taking a nice step forward with the right foot, we're just gonna stretch down on that toe now and stretch out that foot. Just taking nice deep breaths. Now let's lean off that foot and let's rotate that ankle around into a circle. And now ankle rolls to the opposite side. Just rolling it inward now. And now opposite foot, let's take that forward. Let's stretch up on that toe. Underneath those toes, stretching out that foot. And lean off of that foot and now rotate that ankle into a circle. Still getting nice, beautiful breaths in. And now rotate that ankle to the opposite side. Beautiful. All right, from here, let's go ahead and let's just get some nice closing breaths while we take nice deep breaths in. Let's reach up to the universe and pull down that universal energy into the heart chakra. Coming up and releasing all of that energy to the universe, coming down, lifting up that energy from the earth, pulling it into our heart chakra. Nice deep breath in and release it as we come down. Reaching up and pulling that energy down, all the way up. Bring that beautiful energy up into the heart chakra. Let's continue this motion for 2 more motions. Going all the way down, grabbing that universal energy, bringing all of that into your soul. And releasing. Scooping up that beautiful earth energy and pulling it up into the chakras. And last time, releasing, connecting with the earth, coming all the way up, connecting with the universe, becoming center. And release that. Now I want you to lean forward and gift all this beautiful energy, coming back and giving yourself a nice, beautiful hug. Releasing all this beautiful energy, spreading this goddess love, coming back and gifting yourself with some love. Spreading that all around. Now from here, let's just gently roll the body around, rolling the neck, rolling the shoulders, rolling the body, knees and everything, just in a nice circle. And to the opposite way. And opposite way again, just rolling that body. And opposite way again. Roll those wrists. Remember, when we waken the goddess inside, magical things happen. Shimmy that belly! Woo! Thank you much for joining.